All right. It's Tuesday, March 19th, 7:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Took me some time to find some charts today. And I've got three charts. And yeah, what I do is I go through and find different size tick charts where I'm looking for second entries that are consistently working throughout the session. And those are the charts I want to trade when they work for my profit target. And let's see here. I actually need to load one more over here. I didn't do yet. All right. So this chart is a really big tick chart. I don't know how big these bars are. And let's see. All right, so I've got two charts that I can attempt to go for a little bit more than my scalp on, my usual scalp. And then I've got one chart where I'm just going to be going for just my scalp. Morning there, Gary. Hope you're having another successful morning over there. I'm also watching this chart, which is a much smaller chart. As well as this chart. So just keeping my eye on some things here. So we had the open price. It got tested and resisted once earlier. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when it gets up there again. Looks like we have the measured move already reached here. Gary's doing okay. 15 PAs this morning, 655-ish per. Oh, it sounds more than okay to me. Nice. I'm going to trade my PA7 first, which has the least amount of days traded on it so far out of my PAs. And try to get that one a trade. And then I'll move on to probably PA2 after that. Started off the week 2-0 yesterday with really limited time trading, only about, I think I traded an hour and 20 minutes or so. Or at least that's around how long my stream was, which is how long I traded. Gonna be similar today. My daughter's gonna be home today from school as well, so probably gonna be finishing up by 9 latest, maybe a little bit before that. Hey Sagi, welcome. So let's see what we get here. I was Saggy's constructing a new home, a little busy nowadays. Well, congrats on the new home. That's great. I was looking around on YouTube and just noticing there seems like there's so many streamers now for trading futures. I haven't like really looked much to see if there were new ones that came up since the ones I already know about. So it looks like I'm not the only one that's started doing this recently. Looks like I got caught here. All right. Not the way I wanted to start my day. So that's the first loss on this chart, this entire chart. First time my entry hasn't worked. And back down on that PA. I was a little bit wary because I had measured move. I checked the measured move and we had already reached there. So I'm not surprised it didn't work. But I'm always a little surprised when it doesn't work when the whole chart's been working for the whole session. So first loss of the week. Sagi says US is banning Forex firms, so everyone's switching to futures. Yeah, I think that's probably true. So here's a case where it goes and reaches my profit target after taking me out. And there is a rule that says that when my signal bar gets engulfed immediately, I could move it to the next swing, but I just didn't want to risk that on my PA account. One day, if I'm ever playing with Apex's money, then I can do that. But I don't want to blow up a PA account in one trade. All right, so that's a bummer. So I won't be playing this chart anymore. This chart is scratched. Which is funny because I had the option. There was another chart where the same trade was setting up a little bit differently, and that one worked. I think it worked. Let me see. This chart here. Let's see. Yeah, it worked. Above this bar. All right, let me update my stats real quick. Was I on mute before, or was I talking? I don't know if I muted myself or not when I was talking about this loss that I had. Hopefully I was not muted, because I thought I was muted right now, and I'm not. But yeah, picked up a loss here, unfortunately. Moving on. So I won't be trading PA7 again. I'll just try to recover that another day. It's not. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to move on to PA2 and hope I have better results on the next trade. I also forgot to copy Eval 35, which I meant to do. All right. So I think I just thought that I was muting myself when I was going to do my stats, and I guess I never pushed the button. All right. So let's get off this bad chart. All right, so I'm down to 2 charts. All right, and so this is why I'm trading this way. If I pick up a loss on one account, it's just one account, I move on to the rest. Hopefully I'll have better luck with my last 2 charts here. And there's not going to be any more charts to find today because I've already looked through so many. So I'm not surprised that today is kind of day where I picked up a loss early. So I got these 2 charts, and then if these 2 charts get burned, then I'll be done for the day. And that's all part of my risk management strategy as well. And it kind of helps because when when you have charts to play, you keep going, and when you run out of charts, then day's over. And you're not taking risks on charts that haven't been showing that they've been working consistently. Never fun to start with a loss. It's funny, I just got in this account back over the starting balance yesterday. And that's how it's been with these 25Ks. I keep getting them back above, and then they keep getting knocked back down. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. I think I traded account 6 yesterday. I wouldn't mind a setup right off the low of the day in the previous day low. Even though it's a very down day. If I get a setup right off of this level, I can consider that. It's funny, I was just thinking last night before I went to bed, like, oh, it'd be great if I could get all three of these to a payout. That'd be $5,000. It'd be very profitable compared to my investment so far. And I feel like every time I look forward and try to think about a payment, and that's that's when I pick up a loss. All right, well, last week I had one loss and then went on to have 11 wins in a row after that. So maybe I can have the same kind of recovery. So ideally this would go a little bit lower for me still. And then get an entry just around here maybe. If this triggers, I'll take it. Some room. Looks like my daughter's waking up. Okay, so I did get that win there. I was talking to my daughter and her monitor. She's not feeling good, so just trying to see if she'll try to go back to sleep for a little while here. So this was trade 2. PA2. and Eval 35. And looks like I got 11 ticks, but I got a little bit less than 11 ticks somehow. Guess I got 10 ticks. All right, so I forgot to update my stats and the days traded. Let me do that real quick. All right, so 1 and 1 for the day. Turn off PA2. It all helps, right? So little baby steps to get there. So I'll go to PA6 next. And I'm going to leave Eval 35 on. All right, looking to see what happens here because I just saw in the corner of my eye. This is technically first entry short, ticked above this bar and then ticked below. It's technically a second entry short. So I'm interested to see whether this works because technically if this doesn't work, it burns my chart. It's not really an area or spot where I'd want to trade it that way, but my system's pretty black and white. If it's a second entry, it's a second entry, so it counts. It looks like this is going to fail. Let's see. Yeah, so that fails. So this chart is now burned. So I am now down to one chart. So this is not going to be a very long session for me, no matter what today. Because days like this where, I pick up a loss on my first trade and then have just one chart left, and it's a rather larger tick chart. Yeah. First of all, there's not going to be a lot of opportunities on a chart like this. And then second of all, it just feels like, when you're only able to find 3 charts and then 2 of them go bad in the first 30 minutes, makes you think, okay, well, how long until this chart goes bad? And will it be when I'm trying to trade my last PA? I've already got a loss on one PA here. It's not a very exciting day for me. I was really hoping that today would get to the charts and just be one of those days where I have like so many charts that I could choose from. That's just easy to find 4 charts to work off of. And, if a chart falls off, just pick up another chart. But that's not today. It's rare. Yeah. Choppy. Yeah. It's rare that I see, these kinds of days with my system. I mean, usually, if I'm looking through, sometimes I could look through like 40 charts, which is what happened today. Before I started, I was looking through a lot of charts, and it's rare that it takes so much effort to just find 3 or 4 charts that you can work off of. Usually there's like more than enough, and it's like me saying, okay, well, I'd rather work on this chart because it's a smaller tick chart or something like that. But then, every once in a while, a day like today comes up where it's just really hard to find a chart to start with, and then really hard to even find 4. Like today, I only found 3. Most days I always find 4. And then, when you pick up a loss on your first trade and then another chart that you don't take a trade, you miss it. It doesn't work as well. Not that I don't think I would have taken that trade because it just didn't look right to me. But yeah, I guess I'm just thankful that these kinds of days happen very few and far between for my system so far in the 2.5 months that I've been trading it. And again, that's all part of my risk management strategy. So, if my charts are not consistently working, and if I run out of charts or whatever the case may be, then that's when I know it's time to wrap up my day. It's kind of like a signal to me to stop trading that's outside of myself. Like I can't change the reality of what the charts look like. So it's another reason why I like trading this way, because I can't override that. I'm very like black and white about the system. And so, to me, it's like, okay, first entry, second entry works, good. First entry, second entry, it works. Oh, it's working on the whole chart. Great. Doesn't work down here somewhere while I'm trading. All right, well, it's no longer a consistent chart as far as I'm concerned. And, I'll make exceptions. Like if there's like one second entry that doesn't work, like way up here in the middle of the overnight, early on, then, I'll still trade that chart if it's got all winning entries all the way down here. But Gary says, I like that you are strict with the rules. Yeah, that's kind of like one of the points of why my brother, was thinking of like how to come up with a concept like this in terms of like trading the chart and trading how consistently it is to work versus just trading individual entries. And that's part of it, is that's kind of like the core of what I'm trying to do working with the strategy. And I'm a lot more strict with it than my brother is. My brother will make exceptions. He'll a chart will get a loss. He won't throw the chart away. He'll keep using it, and sometimes he'll play the very next entry because he thinks like, oh well, a chart that was working for it to get 2 in a row is not likely. But I think the other way. I think, okay, once it gets one loss, it's more likely to get another loss. So I rather just throw out the chart and work on other charts that are still consistently working. Yeah, my brother's had payouts. I think he's probably slightly profitable. He's a different animal than me, so he goes in bigger than me. So he trades more accounts at one time. He would copy accounts together more than me. Especially when he started, he was like going 20 deep at a time. And so he's gotten payouts. I know he's gotten all of his money back, and I think he's up a little bit. So technically profitable, but not profitable to the point where he'd like to be. And that's just as far as trading Apex, because he does other stuff too. He trades options and things. But at this point, he's definitely more profitable than me trading on Apex, because he's gotten payouts and he's gotten all of his money back and some. But also the difference is I'm only in for a grand total of about $2,000 right now. I actually just had one account renewed last night. I think it was 33 renewed, when it turned midnight yesterday. And I think with that one, or maybe I think there's 2 more actually. These 2 renewed tonight at midnight, 27 and 26. So I think with those 3 renewals, I will be at a grand total of $2,000 for my Apex trading in terms of the fees I've paid. So that's why, I'm so concentrated on getting this one payout at very least on PA2 and get my $2,000, and then I'll be break even at that point. My fees have kindly caught up with me where the one payout no longer makes me profitable. So yeah, but I mean, he's interesting because he doesn't stick to the rules. Like basically what happened was he shared the concept with me, and then I made a whole lot of rules. And I was using like a whole lot of rules early on. I was taking like a fraction of the trades I could have taken when I started in January. And I was still applying like rules like signal bars and not trading off of inside bars like I did here. Just having like a bunch of rules. And then I started to strip them back, as you've seen in the last couple of weeks, where I'm mostly trading with no rules for individual setups other than kind of these kind of levels of like where the opening price is, where the previous day lows are, things like that. My brother would just take an entry wherever it was, regardless of anything, And so I'm finding reasons to skip certain areas where I won't trade, but he'll take every literal second entry, kind of like how this one looks. There's a first entry here. So above this inside bar is a second entry, no matter what it looks like. And I'm being a little bit more judicious about which ones I will or will not take, and in what areas. But then I also have these other rules like I'm talking about where I won't trade after a loss on the same chart. I have my Apex rules where after a win or a loss, I move on to the next account and spread it out over my accounts. And I think he's kind of adopting this a little bit, where he's going from one account to the next account now. So he's spreading it out. But he'll also like go off grid and just like trade things that aren't second entries, and he'll trade based on something he sees and his instinct. Whereas I'm just sticking with the literal technical kind of system. Because also I wanted to be able to test it out on YouTube and record the success rate of it. So, I'm keeping a tally of my wins and losses and the stats. He doesn't do that. All he cares about is trying to make money. So I wanted to see how good the strategy really is, because you don't know until you're really looking at it, and you can't honestly know because you'll lie to yourself if you're not keeping track. But if you're keeping track like this, then the numbers don't lie, right? So 81%, not bad. I still have reason to think that it could be more than 81% overall, but that's where I'm at right now. Gary says you're doing great for just starting in January. Yeah, I mean, I was trading Apex before January, but I've been trading this system since January. Trading NQ, I started the day after Christmas, and I didn't record that short week, that holiday week, because that was the first time I was trading NQ at all and trading this way at all. And then once I saw that I had success that first 3 days of that holiday week, that's when I started my YouTube journey with NQ and the strategy. And that's when these stats over here started, was the first day of trading January. So 171 trades just since the first day of January. And I haven't been doing bad. I mean, it's interesting because I've changed the way I've approached my accounts a little bit. So there's been days where I've only traded one account and had 8 trades on it, and then there's like where I've landed, which is spreading them all out. But this PA2, I started trading this PA2 the day after Christmas. So this PA2 has only ever been traded with this system. And I was as close as $600 away not too long ago. Now I'm about $800 away from the payout. So that's like my clearest signal to me that overall the system is working. I'm just continuing to tweak. And then PA6 and 7 were both attained using the system. So I passed 2 evaluations using the system in that time. As you can see, I'm trading slow, so I'm not trying to push things and go fast either. Sagi says 133 win first trade. Nice, Sagi. The great thing for me in terms of having multiple accounts and switching accounts at this part of testing the strategy is the losses don't get me down, right? It's like even with this loss, I hate to see it, but I've got 2 accounts that are in the green today, and I've got another PA that's unaffected by the loss, and this PA was unaffected by the loss. So it lets me like not really think about it or get upset about it. It lets me just move on and go, okay, well, I know based on my system, like last week, I get a loss and then go on, an 11 or 12 win streak in a row right after that. So that means all my other accounts will get wins today if it was that kind of a day. I don't think I'm going to get that many trades on this one single chart because it's such a big chart. But yeah, right. $133. Not bad per hour. That's for sure. That is for sure. I even feel that way about my little $97 on this PA account. I've been here for 40 minutes. So $97 for the 40 minutes. Like, yeah. And then the other thing too is because I do look at these accounts and the balances and P&Ls as if they're just, Alpine Trader refers to them as tokens. I refer to them as tickets. I just think of skee ball at the arcade, and you're playing the game. You get as many points as you can get, and then you're spitting out tickets, and then you gotta have enough tickets to take to the gift counter and turn in your tickets for your prize, right? And so I need 2,600 on this account, 2,600 in tickets, so I can turn it in for my $2,000 prize. So this loss, the 437 loss right now, 438, means nothing to the tickets I have for that $2,000 right now, right? So that's what really keeps me like mentally feeling fine about the day and ready to move on. And I've already brought this back to break even a number of times, and I know I can do it again. And even if I don't, even if I end up losing this account tomorrow, let's say, you know, I could still have 2 accounts here that go on for payouts, and then those 3 accounts would have done their job. I'd be profitable for those 3 accounts. I mean, I'd be profitable overall with just 2 payouts, but really profitable for the amount of money I put in for the 3 accounts combined. So I just look at it like it's approximately $200 per account once I have a PA. So this is like $600 of my fees is these 3 accounts. So, you know, 2 payouts would get me 3,500, and I'll be way ahead of the game just for those accounts. But then you have to add up all the other evaluations I've taken, and all the other PAs that I've already lost that I paid fees for. So that's where I'm in for 2,000. All right, so just waiting to see what goes on up here. Because I am on such a huge tick chart, you know, setups are going to come really slow. So I've got my first entry here. And if somehow a second entry does form right at the opening price level, I would be willing to take that if it sets up the way I like it. Gary uses VWAP. He says the price is testing the VWAP now. If support holds here, probably goes higher. Yeah, and how that's interesting. So your VWAP, it sounds like, is lining up a bit with where the opening price is, maybe. For me, I'm going to see if when my second entry forms, if it's above or below the opening price. Because if I see some sort of rejection off of this opening price, which is this white dotted line, then even if it's going higher, I would trust it to go short for my trading, just enough for me to pick up my scalp. Oh, your VWAP's at 125-ish. Okay, so it's a little bit below the opening price, but it's here. So I'll just be interested to see what happens here. This is kind of a level that I like. It was resistance here, it's resistance here on this candle. So if it looks like it's going to be resistance, I'll take the trade here. If it closes above, I probably won't. But if it closes above, if this candle closes above and then the next one shoots down and closes below, I may be interested in taking it. Obviously, if it just shoots through and keeps going, then there will be no trade here for me. I won't trade into the opening price from above it, because I don't want to trade into what used to be resistance might become support. So just have to see what this looks like here. right, I'm in this trade. All right, so that's all I needed right there. That's my scalp. Oh, did it close? All right, it closed. Again, I got a little bit less. A little bit less than I want to get on my scalp. Looks like I got a little bit of slippage on my Apex account from, again, I use a sim as my leader account, and that way I can switch accounts quickly without having to pull up the chart trader thing. So I'm guessing I got, I don't know the math. I'm just going to put 10 ticks. I'm unsure what the math is, but you can see how little I need it to go to just get my scalp. So, and again, just playing right off this level of the opening price. So I don't know. I'm bad at math. I'm just going to say 10 ticks. It's weird because I got 97 on the other trade, and this time I got 92. So there should be a difference. Maybe it's 9 ticks then. Is it 9 ticks? See, Gary says, still testing, looking strong right now. Every retest makes it stronger. Nice trade. You're like a sniper. Sometimes. Yeah, sniper except for my first trade today. What was that first trade? Where was it? Oh yeah, off the EMA. I mean, it's funny because I had done that measured move and it had reached it here like almost perfectly. So after a measured move, you know, when I used to play by a lot more rules, I would have been more wary of taking a trade here. But again, if and when I can start employing this rule where I move my stop if my signal bar gets engulfed on the next bar, then I would move it to the next swing lower. And see if it does this. And it would have worked in this particular case. So this is kind of a loss that in the future might be avoidable, but I'm just not I'm not willing to risk that extra amount because that's enough to blow up this account, 25K account. But eventually I'd like to be at least 50Ks. And then, and if I'm playing with Apex's money, then I'd be willing to move that stop there and then either blow the account or let it end up working like this one would have. So, yeah, these ones happen. So yeah, and that's all I want. I mean, look, like now it can go higher, and like Gary, it's like we could both ultimately be right about our analysis because you said you think that if it bounces off the VWAP here, which it looks like this is a bounce off your VWAP probably, then it's going to go higher. And that may be true. And then at the same time, I was still able to play my short because I was looking at just picking up, I was going for 11 ticks in this case, but just picking up a quick short right off of that opening price. and it had been resistance since the market opened, regular hours, and it moved, plenty for me to pick up my little scalp. I could have picked up even more, and now it might go higher even yet, and so we could both be right. Saggy says you 3-1 for the week. Actually, I gotta change my stats. I forgot to do that. So actually, 2-1 for the day. Which means 4-1 for the week. And 139 wins overall. So those are now my updated stats after this last trade number 3. And I need to update the days traded on PA6. So now 16 days traded there. So I'm done trading my PAs for the day, right? I'm almost back to the starting balance of evaluation 35. I've just been working on that because I'm trying to get that one to starting balance and full drawdown in time for when it renews. I think I still have another week or so, maybe a week and a half, something like that. So I want to get that to at least starting balance and full drawdown so that when it renews, I don't feel like I'm getting a bad deal for paying 80% off on it when I can just buy a new one for 80% off and have full drawdown. Gary's heading to lunch. All right, Gary, thanks for coming by. I'm probably going to be out of here by the time you're back again. I'm going to be done within the next hour. Saggy asked 4 trades today, 3-1 for today, I think. Are you asking that to me, Saggy, or were you asking Gary how many trades he had? I'm 2-1. I have 3 trades, and you see that I've got 4 accounts with profit or loss because I've been copy trading evaluation 35 on my last 2 trades. So I've only got 3 trades, but I've got 4 accounts traded. So yeah, so 2-1 for the day and 4-1 for the week. Because yesterday I was 2-0. So the next account I will trade, I think, will be evaluation 31, which is, I think, the closest to passing. And because I know I'm only going for my small scalp size right now, I'm not going for any extra ticks. I'm not going to pass it in the next trade, no matter what happens. Yeah, Saggy says, Saggy says, great, we 3 growing together. We should be trading on the floor. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a long way to go, but at the same time, with Apex, I feel like even though it feels like I have a long way to go, I'm not that far. I'm really not that far. All it's going to take me is 2 of these 3 PAs to be profitable for my Apex trading. And I'm very close to adding additional PAs soon if I don't run into any issues. So we'll see. So there's another win. And again, trading the old price action rules on PAT system, that's a trade you can't take. On Max system, the way I used to trade, you got a bearish bar as a signal bar, not even touching the EMA quite. Looks very range-like. But with my system, I'm just trusting it. Even with the loss on my first trade, I'm just trusting my system. And this chart has been working, and so I continue to trust it until it doesn't. So this is trade 4. And this was Eval 31 and 35. And this one looks like I got the 11 ticks that I like to get. All right, so let me update my stats right now. Again. So now the day is more acceptable looking. 3 and 1. The week I'm 5 and 1, which is what, 80. Let's see. 83%. And now 140 wins for the year. All right, so the day started off looking not great for me. But in the meantime, while I have one account that took a hit, I've got now 4 accounts that have improved for the day or progressed towards their goals. And that's what I'm really concentrating on. And that's what I noticed is like, if you treat these accounts like live cash accounts, then, well, typically you only have one live cash account. So if you lose $437, now you're just working to make $437 back. So, maybe break even now if I was doing that, or maybe slightly red still, I'm not sure. But instead of doing that and wasting my time on this one account, which doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things, I've spread it out and I've improved all these other accounts, and I'll worry about this account another day. But in the meantime, I'm taking advantage of not building myself out of a hole, but just continuing to improve accounts, right? One account in the hole, 4 accounts improving. So that's kind of how I see the power of what I'm doing here for my trading. Also, because I am such a conservative trader. I'm not going big. I'm not trying to throw a lot of contracts at these trades. I'm not burning accounts all the time right now. So this is like a strategy of maintenance for the accounts, right? That's kind of how I look at it. I'm just maintaining the accounts, and I'm giving the majority of the accounts their best chance, while knowing that one account here or there is likely to take a hit, but for the sake of the better for the rest. Let's see what Saggy's saying here. Actually, let me do a couple things real quick, and then I'll look at the chat again. Give me a second. Okay, and then I just have to update. Evaluation 31 is now traded for 13 days. All right, now let's look at the chat. Sagi says, in India, average income is $500 per family. What is average income in California? I have no idea, to be honest with you. No idea the answer to that. California is a really, really big state. And so there's like very drastically different areas. You know, obviously there's Los Angeles, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, you know, people making a lot of money, Malibu, and, you know, there's very wealthy areas. And then there's areas that are like farmland, where it's just small towns. It's not big cities. San Francisco is a big city. You know, it's just, there's so much variety in areas of California that I have no idea. It's like a really, California could be like a country. It's that big. So he says, I dream to visit USA. Yeah. I dream to visit India. I think that would be cool. I think that would be really cool. And then Sagi says, your RM, I'm guessing that's risk management. Your risk management is mind blowing. Not everyone can understand. Yeah. So the risk management, and again, I'm not the one that, you know, I'll give credit where credit's due. So I'm not the one that came up with the concept of my risk management. I got the concept from a trader who's on YouTube named Alpine Trader. I'll just type it in the chat for anyone that doesn't know him. Alpine Trader. And he's on YouTube, streams for free. And he's talked about it a lot lately, and he's been making a killing on Apex. You know, he's been basically working with 20 PAs at a time since the end of last year, I think, or the beginning of this year. And already this year, he's now, I think, well over $100,000 in payouts that have been approved already. And he's just killing it. And so I learned that concept from him, which is that don't treat these accounts like real money, and use the ability to have multiple accounts, like up to 20 PA accounts from Apex. You know, use it as leveraged in your favor, because the reality is, you know, these accounts are not worth this account's not worth $52,277 right now. I don't actually have $2,277 in profit in it. This is just an evaluation. So all I've got in this account, this one single account, is the price I paid for it, which was the 80% off discount. So I paid $30, you know, $33, whatever it is, for that account. And so that's my maximum risk. So all of these accounts at any given time, my maximum risk is, you know, either $33, or in the case of 34 and 35, I got these for 90% off. So I was risking about $15, $16 on these two individual accounts. So that's kind of really the key of it. 1 second. So that's really the key of it, because once you start to look at it in that way and say, oh, I'm only putting $16 at risk or $30 at risk per account up here, my PA costs, you know, I average legitimately about $200 in fees to attain each one of these PA accounts. So the max risk on these PA accounts are $200. So, you know, I'm up $1,800 on this account, but if I lose the account, I didn't lose $1,800. I lost $200, right? So that's kind of the thinking about it. And then so I'm just taking advantage of the fact that it doesn't take many payouts to start getting ahead of the game. So all I'm concentrated on is one or two payouts. One $2,000 max payout on this account gets me to break even. I've put $2,000 in fees into my Apex trading so far. So all it takes is one account to give me my money back. If I were to be fortunate enough to get a second payout on this account, which is a max 1,500, then I'll have $3,500 of real money in my pocket, which means I'll be up $1,500 at that point if I were to do that before I incur more fees, in the next weeks to come. So, the clock is always ticking because you have these monthly fees you're paying on the evaluations. I pay lifetime on the PA fees. So once I get a PA, I know I'm going slow. So there's no point in me getting the monthly fees on those when I know it's going to take me. I mean, look, I've traded 32 trading days on PA2. So quite frankly, I got this PA account in July. So if I was paying PA fees monthly, I would just be drowning in fees. It wouldn't be the right decision for me the way I'm trading. But and of course, I didn't trade it for the first number of months. I didn't start trading it till the day after Christmas. So, so I pay lifetime on these. I know I'm going slow. Look, PA6, I've traded 16 days already. As you can see here, 16 days traded on PA6. I got that this year. I got PA6 in 2024. So I've traded 16 days. I've only made $172 after my win today. So, but going back to my point, the risk management is using the accounts. And so that's why I'm willing to risk a larger amount per trade in terms of like dollars within the accounts, because at the end of the day, the most I'm going to lose is $200 on any single PA account, or $15 or $30 on a evaluation. And I'm just going for, typically around 11 ticks, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes just that. But it doesn't take much for me to win. So that's why my winning percentage is so high, All right, so I'm 3-1 for today, 5-1 for the week. Not bad. It was a rough start. Got a loss on the first trade. It's never fun when it lands on the PA account, but after everything I just talked about, you can see why I'm trading the strategy I am, because at the end of the day, even if one account gets a setback, if I can move 4 accounts forward in a day and have one that's being set back, then it's a successful day for me. I'm now only less than 150 away from passing this evaluation. I'm a little bit closer on 2 PA accounts to the profit target, and I'm a little further away on one. And what do I have as far as drawdown on PA7? I've still got, what is it, 150? I've still got about 750 in drawdown. So, can't really afford another loss on there, but I was able to afford this loss and able to still bring it back. If my stats hold up, I should be able to bring it back and hopefully even progress it like PA2 is. So. All right, and I'm on a really large tick chart, and the setups are going to come slowly. So it's already 8:20. I'm going to be stopping in the next probably 30 or so minutes, but I'm just going to take a quick couple minute break here, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Saggy says done for the day, 2:15 up. Very nice, Saggy. My system is working not every single time, but every single day. But because of my mindset, I was taking losses. I fixed it now. I'm break even or profitable from last 1 month every day. But yeah, that's great. I think no matter what system, you're going to have losses, right? So there's no perfect 100% system out there. So I think it's a matter of, figuring out how to make adjustments so that when you take a loss, it doesn't change what you do next. I think that's where most people I see go wrong. I don't know if you watch a guy named UK Trader. I think that's what UK. I think it's UK Trader on YouTube, and he's been having some difficulties just in the last few days after having been really consistent for a pretty good amount of time. And sometimes he just gets a loss, and then his mind, it seems like his brain flips, and he starts doing things different than what he had been doing that got him to be so consistent for the month or two previously. And he just starts taking trades that he doesn't normally take and starts picking up more losses, and it's like one loss becomes another loss becomes another one, and before you know it, he blows an account or multiple accounts. And so I think it's just important to learn yourself how to manage being able to accept a loss, and then what's your game plan after you get a loss. In your case, it sounds like, when you got a loss, it was affecting you, and you'd end up with a red day. Now you've made some adjustments, and you're able to take a loss and still continue to trade and be able to get back to at least break even. So that's huge if that's what you're saying. For me, it's kind of a similar concept in a way. As you saw, I took my first loss today on this account. What enables me to move forward and not concentrate on the loss is that I know that my system is good, and it typically is consistent and works. So even if I pick up a loss for the day, typically I should be able to pick up 3, 4, 5, 6 wins after that, as long as my stats hold up, right? So I know that even though I got a loss on one account, I should be able to move on to other accounts and make them advance. And trading Apex is honestly more like trading it's like a video game, in a sense that you're not trading your real money. Every time you take a win or a loss, it's not real money. I didn't lose $437 today, like I talked about earlier. If anything, I've put at risk $200 of this account that I paid for it. And I didn't make, for instance, I didn't make $97 on this account. I'm not up $1,832 in this account. I'm up what I call, tickets or tokens. And I need to make 2,600 in tickets to be able to turn them in for my $2,000. And that's what I'm trying to get, is $2,000. Here, I'm just trying to pass an evaluation, right? I didn't make $102. I just got $102 in tickets that when I reach the goal, my prize is I get to pay another $140 or $130, I guess, since it's a 25K account. My prize will be pay $130 and get another one of these accounts, right? So that's what helps me move on with losses, is that it's the way I'm trading right now. It's not about any one account. None of these accounts are more important than the other ones, except for PAs being more important than evaluations anyway. So the other thing I haven't mentioned is just, I'm also trading really small right now. Like what I see for my future is doing this with these accounts, but on steroids, right? Like where I'll be copy trading. Right now I have a total of 10 accounts, I think. Yeah, 10 accounts. and I'm trading them one at a time. Well, what I want to do ultimately is work up to 20 accounts and ultimately 20 PA accounts and be trading them, 2, 3, 4 at a time, right? And then, hopefully I'm getting enough into payouts that by 2 and 3 and 4 at a time, that the ones I lose along the way won't matter, because when you're getting multiple accounts paid out at $2,000 each, eventually when hopefully I'll be at all 50Ks at some point, then you can buy 10 accounts. You can have on average 10 accounts, 10 PA accounts for $2,000, right? So if you only got 2 of those accounts, 2 of the 10 to pay out, that's $4,000. You made $2,000 on your investment. You doubled your money, even though you've lost 8 accounts. So that's kind of the magic secret sauce of thinking about these accounts in that way. Sagi says gonna break opening. Oh, gonna break opening price. I mean, it definitely looks like it's trying, but so here we've tried a couple times over here. Now we've got first attempt, second attempt. If it doesn't break through this time, then I think it's going to fail and still stay in the range or maybe go lower, because typically if the market tries something 3 times and fails, then it's going the other direction. So this will be interesting. All right, I'm going to be right back. Just 2 minutes. All right, I'm back. So he says, as I said before, broke the open. Let's see. Yeah, broke the open. And That's the other thing. I'm not surprised because I am always looking to see where the previous day's closes, which is this dotted purple line up here. And so there's going to be an attempt throughout the day to close what is essentially a gap, because where that closed yesterday on a day chart, that's where the close of the candle is if you have it set to the regular hour close. So, the market likes to close the gaps. And so it's never surprising when it tries to. Now, even though it broke out here, the way I look at the market is even though it broke out, it could still fail the breakout and break back in. And a lot of times, probably maybe near most of the times, breakouts fail and go back into the range. So, I want to see if this is a strong breakout where it continues, or if it fails back inside, it very well still can go the other way. So just because I have a small breakout here doesn't mean much to me in my trading. The only thing that would mean anything to me the way I'm trading is if there was a second entry that was setting up here. It's not, but if this was going to be a second entry, I wouldn't want to take it going into this opening price from above, because it's been resistance all through here, and resistance could turn into support, right? So I wouldn't want to go short right into that opening white dash line. Not that I have a setup to do that right now anyway. So yeah, this will be interesting, because if it just continues to go higher, I likely won't get any more setups. But by the time I'm done trading, I figure I've got until maybe another 20-25 minutes, and then I'm gonna have to record my review video and get that done so that I'm completely done with everything by about 9:30 my time. So that's 55 minutes from now. All right, so this is definitely looking like a solid breakout, like Sagi was saying. So we'll just see where this takes us. The look of this market definitely doesn't look like I'm going to get a setup anytime soon on this chart. And this is my last chart I'm playing today. So I'm going to give it some time and see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not very active to end the session here. I am 3-1 for the day. The market's been kind of slower or something lately. It's been kind of choppier. Not that NASDAQ isn't always choppy, but I don't know, it's been kind of interesting. But also just the fact that I'm playing a much larger tick chart on this chart. So everything just goes slower. So much less activity for me on a chart like this, even though, look, I got 3 trades within an hour. So that's pretty good on a chart like that. I didn't even see, even adjust what account I would actually be trading next. I do like that I'm just trading my PAs first, even though I got my loss today. So I'm kind of glad I put my wheel away for this week. Even though if I had my random wheel choosing accounts, then who knows where that would have landed. But I wasn't getting enough trades on my PA accounts using the wheel last week. I looked and I had very few trades on my actual PA accounts last week. And those are the accounts that I want to trade the most because those give me my best chance to actually make some money. So, 2 out of the 3 green today. And thankfully the one that's closest to payout green. So I'm kind of liking that I'm just going ahead and choosing accounts now. So also, I chose the account closest to passing, and maybe that's what I'll do next too. So 27. I'll trade 27 next. I'll take 35 off the copier where I'm now just under starting balance on it. So basically starting balance. And what's my drawdown? My drawdown's at, not bad, it's like almost 1900. So it's basically where I want to be. I mean, I'm still 600 below full drawdown. So I'm going to lock in the profits today on account 35 and not put that at further risk today. But I do still want to get another 600 or so more to be at full drawdown by the time this account renews. So I don't know. I feel some sort of way about renewing an account and not having the full drawdown, especially if it's under starting balance as well. So I got like one of my 2 things kind of ticked off that I got it back to the starting balance. And now it's just a matter of getting it back to where it was before I took whatever losses I took on it. I think I took 2 losses in a row, which is why it was down so bad. But yeah, I've recovered it pretty well, and I've done most of it by copy trading it with other accounts. And fortunately, I just didn't have it copied on my first trade today, so it luckily missed the loss. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I can just totally revive that, and it would be great to get one more trade today and get this a little bit closer. Now, 27 I know is renewing tonight at midnight. So I'm paying another $30 for this. So it's going to become a $60 account. And really it's this account in all honesty has been renewed a few times now. So I've blown this 27, 26 up a couple times previously. And now I'm just extending an extra month because it's in good shape. So I'm not going to try to push it, especially on a day like today. I'm not going to try to do anything to just pass it. I'm willing to pay $30 because in the grand scheme of things, again, it's like $30 isn't going to mean much when I start getting $2,000 and $1,500 payments. And I do believe that the strategy is going to get me there. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And there were times not too long ago where like the 1 day pass when they first came out with that was affecting me in the way I was trading these accounts, or like if they came out with a 90% or an 80% when the current discount was lower, and I would start getting more crazy with how I was trading accounts. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to stay within my system and trade the way I trade. And I think by doing that, my results are showing that it's going to pay off. It's the first step to this for me is going to go slowly. It's all about when I can get that first payout and be break even for my trading. Then the next step will be getting that second payout and getting profitable. Once I'm profitable, then I can really open up my game and get more aggressive in how I'm trading overall, but more aggressive just in like maybe an extra contract per account, maybe copy trading, evaluation and a PA together always, something like that. But I think it will start to create a snowball effect at some point where my winning percentage is high enough that enough accounts will start passing and qualifying for payouts, and then the ball will start getting rolling and things will start happening for me. So it's been a slow process the first couple months here of the year with this new strategy, but it's all working towards my goals. Sagi says, how's little princess, my daughter who's been sick? She seems to be better. She's out in the kitchen with her mom right now, and we're just going to keep her home one more day just to be sure. make sure she's ready to go back to school, and then hopefully she'll be able to get back to school tomorrow. And but yeah, thanks for asking. She's doing much better. All right, so this is interesting. We've got a little bit of a pullback to the opening price. Now, my guess is that the opening price will start working as support now. And so it'll be interesting if it does work as support and then continue to go higher and eventually close the gap of the previous close. Let's see what it looks like on the daily. So here's the daily chart. As you can see, it already hit my measured move that I had measured a long time ago. I mean, it doesn't even show up on the chart anymore at the bottom of this leg, also because of the rollover of the new contract. But I wonder if I can make this. I probably only have it for a year, and that's why I could probably make this chart a longer period of time so I can see that. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, the point is it made the measured move almost to the tick. I mean, considering how big this chart is. And so we backed off away from it, and now we're kind of seeing if it's going to retest it or not, maybe. But interesting that it closed below the EMA. It closed at the EMA yesterday, and now we're working under the EMA, but it's trying to get back above. So when the daily chart gets like this, it's really hard for me to tell what's going on. It's like it can just continue to roll over. It can just stay in this tight range up here. It can bounce here and go higher. For me, I just never know. So he says, see you tomorrow, having dinner. One more profitable day. Right on, Sagi. Thanks for coming and joining me today again. And I'm glad you had a profitable day. One step closer to our goals. And we'll keep doing it, right? Keep doing our thing. But yeah, I'm glad you're finding some success, and glad that you mentioned that you changed your mentality a little bit in the way you're doing things so that you can, what do you say? You said your mindset, how your mindset used to be taking losses, and you've adjusted some things, and now you're able to be break even or profitable every day for the past month. So that's like a huge step to be able to overcome the mistakes you start making after a loss, and cutting off the bleed, and just focusing on break even or positive days. And it just takes base hits. It doesn't take home runs, and the process is slow in the beginning, and then eventually you'll get to a payout. And just like I'm hoping eventually I'll get to a payout, and then hopefully we can create that snowball effect where money makes money. Have a good one, and enjoy your night over there. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. All right, so I don't have much time left here either. I'm going to stick it out for another 10 or 15 minutes, and then that's really all the time I have for today. I'll have to make a quick review video, and then I'll be spending the day with my daughter, who's staying home from school today. So I'll just be with her. And, if I end the day today where I'm at, it's a good day. I'm up, if you add all this up, I'm up $282 overall. But I don't really look at it that way. I mean, I really do just look at it as like each of these are separate. And so, on one account, I'm red. Sucks, but it is what it is. But I'm green on 4 accounts, and that's more important than the one account that's red. So, yeah, so if I finish today 3-1, that makes me happy. I'd be 5-1 to start the first 2 days of the week. And, last week I started off 0-1, kind of like how I started off today. And I ended up, I think, 12-1 for the week. So 5-1 for the week right now. And it could be another 12-1 week or better or around there. It will make me happy, If I could be 12-1 or 15-2 or 18-2, or 18-1. But again, that's why I'm keeping these stats. Every time I take a trade, you'll see I update the stats, and every trade is taken here on the live stream. So, you can go back and track all these numbers. These are all legit numbers for my trading. And the numbers are the numbers. So right now I'm expecting to win 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5. And I think ultimately with a bigger data set, I think these numbers can actually be even a little bit higher. And I've been adjusting kind of like some of what I've been doing in terms of having rules or not having rules for the individual entries, for this whole first 2.5 months of the year, since the strategy is new for me, and just tweaking things to make it work the best it can work for me. So there honestly have been a number of losses. I mean, there was a week where I had 6 or 7 losses in 1 week, a couple weeks ago, which was my worst week trading the system. And out of those 6 or 7 losses that I took that week, there were 3 or 4 that with a simple rule being applied, I could have avoided. And at that time, I was trying the absolutely no rules for individual setups and just taking every single entry. And so took a lot of losses that week, but it was good. It was a good thing that happened because it made me really observe that, in a case just like this, where if I have an opening price line and it's been resisting price here, resisted once, resisted twice, resisted a third time, a fourth time. If I have a second entry that forms right off of that level and it's been resistance, then I should be very safe to take that trade. But if this second entry were to form up here and be above the opening price, then I'm not safe to take that trade, because what was resistance will now likely be support. And there were probably 3 or 4 trades that 1 week, and even some losses in prior weeks, where I went back and looked at my screenshots, and I was taking losses in these situations, going short right into like an opening line like this, or going short right into a previous day close, or those kinds of circumstances. So just being able to remove those entries out of my trades is going to drastically change the numbers. So if I'm 81% and I was taking trades like that into those levels, and I'm now removing that from my strategy, then I think my strategy can be in the 85 to 90% range, honestly. So that's what I'm looking to see as I move forward here. Even with my one loss today, my loss today was on this chart. Even though I had a loss today, and it wasn't it wasn't for any of that reason. I mean, this is a loss I'm going to just taking this, using this strategy, because I'm not drawing channels, I'm not applying rules. I did just out of curiosity measure a measured move, and I saw that it had been reached and just slightly beyond before it started pulling back. So a lot of times when you have the 2 legs up, you're not going to get another you're not going to get a correction and another leg up after that a lot of times. So that's a place where I'm going to take a loss, and I'm going to take a loss every time if that happens. But then there are a number of times where you do get 2 legs up, and then you do get that third leg up. So I got to keep taking that trade. I'm not going to let that deter me. That's just, one of the currently 19% of the time where I'm going to take a loss. And maybe that gap will close, and maybe instead of 19% of the time I'm taking a loss, maybe only 12% or 13% of the time I'm going to take a loss. So we'll see what happens as time moves on. But that's fine. And I was able to move on and just continue to trade my system as I do, and picked up the 3 wins. So I'm feeling good about today. It's really hard, or it's really easy for a lot of people. They get this loss and it just changes everything. It changes everything they do after that point. And so this system for me is just keeping me in check and keeping my mind right, and just letting me trade exactly how I want to trade. So here we have a first entry short, and let's see, did this? Yeah, so this ticked 1 tick higher than this bar here. So this would be a first entry, and if it ticks below this, it'll be a second entry short. Now, I'm not going to take this because this is right in that area that I was just talking about. It's right at the opening price. Now, I want to observe this though, because now it closed below the opening price. So I want to observe if this works, because my thinking is I'm just staying out of this area. I'm not going to take this trade right now. 1, because I'm going to be done for the day anyway, and I don't want to risk taking a loss right here at the end. But 2, because of this new rule that I was just talking about, that I put this into place. So because of this, this is like an area where I want to observe how many times this trade still works. And it looks like it's trying. I think this will work because it is below the opening price. So I'm thinking this is going to work, but I'm staying out of it because I don't want this area to ultimately become a price of support and it bounces up. And as easily as it formed a second entry short, it's also going to form a first entry long, second entry long. So see, I think it's really close to getting it there. That just hit the profit target. So that would have worked. And so this is exactly what I'm looking at is if this bar had closed above the white line, then I definitely don't want to take the trade. The fact that it closed below it, I think to me is telling me that it's safe to take the trade because it's below the support resistance level. So this is exactly kind of what I was talking about earlier. Sagi had mentioned that he thought that the price was going to break out of the opening price, which it did, and he was right. But a lot of times breakouts fail. So this broke out and then it wasn't able to sustain itself and go on and move up yet. It's got a pullback. So now we still got to see, like, is this level going to be able to hold as support and then it will go on higher? Or is this it failing the breakout and just coming right back into this opening range? So that's what I've got my eye on. I'm not going to be here to continue watching it because I'm going to be stopping here in just a couple minutes. But this is now the fourth day that I've been observing these levels. And this is the fourth day where I've seen where if my signal bar is a close below it, I can enter the trade, all right? And it'll work just enough for my scalp, even if it does then bounce and go on to go higher because it's a level of support. I've also seen 3 times the previous 3 days where I would close above, but the trigger happens below. And even when just the trigger happens below, it seems to work. So I'm just going to continue observing these areas, and these are going to be areas where I stay out of trades when it could be that I'm taking a trade into the support level, old resistance becoming support. I liked this one because it was very clear that it was bouncing right off of what had been resistance since the open of the regular market. So that was like a perfect setup for my system. And this one was a little bit, I'm still a little bit unsure, although it's worked again. So the more times I see this working, the more confident I'll be to take it as they happen. Sagi says, may I know the full form of NLTS? NLTS full form. Oh, like you mean what do the letters stand for? It's funny. It does stand for something, and I do plan on revealing it at some point. But it's a thing that it's kind of stands for like, I don't know how to say this without saying it. It's almost like an affirmation or a goal for my trading. And so I haven't said what it is yet because it hasn't happened yet. As you know, I haven't received any payouts or anything. So I'm kind of waiting to see if I can become profitable at this trading. And if I can, then I feel like I can start saying what it is. But I haven't gotten there yet to be able to actually say it. It's kind of a hope for myself, for all of us. But it's a hope for what trading can be. It stands for something, and I'll say it one day. Hopefully, I'll get to a point where I'm profitable and I'll be able to freely say it. I wonder if I just gave it away by saying all of that, but yeah. I think that says it all. All right, it's 9 o'clock. Basically, it's basically 9 o'clock. So wrapping up for today, this is going to be the end of my trading. So as I showed, I did start off my day with a loss. Unfortunately, first trade of the day on PA7, lost $438 on that account. Wasn't a fun way to start. As you can see, this was trading a much smaller tick size. And this chart was good the whole session from the time the chart opened yesterday. And unfortunately, I just happened to pick up the first non-winning entry of the chart. But that was fine. Moved on to the chart you saw I was on last here, and was fortunate to pick up 3 wins in a row. And look at this. All right, so we've got that bounce using this level of support. And so this is another example before I go here of just what I'm tracking. So this was a first entry long. It ticked 1 tick above this bar here. And then this was a second entry long above this bar. So this is another one I would not have taken today, even if I wasn't done already, because the close was under the white dashed opening price line. And so that could be potential resistance. So I'm observing and watching these because this could be a matter of me taking a trade when it ticks 1 tick above for it to just get turned right back down as resistance and get stopped out. In this case, it worked as support. Now, the thing that I'm trying to observe is this has a little bit of a wick on it, if you can see that. And so the wick is actually above the white dotted line opening price. And so what I'm trying to observe is if the trigger point happens above that level, can I still use it as like a support level and still trust it? In this case, you can see that both my short would have worked just enough for profit, and it closed below and triggered below the opening price. And then this one, the trigger, even though the close of the bar was below the price, the wick was above it. So the trigger was above it, and it would have worked for a support play for long. So that's now the 5th time that I'm saying that as long as the trigger is above or below the level in the right direction that you want it to be, the trade seems to be working. I'm going to just keep observing it because there were times where I think there were times like this where there was no wick and the close was below it and then it failed, right? So the trigger happened right at the white line and then it failed in those cases. So I'm going to keep observing, but right now 5 for 5 would have won that I could have taken that I've skipped since I've been employing this kind of newer rule to my trading. All right, so 3 and 1 for the day. No loss. Sagi says no loss trading setup. I like that. I like that guess. It's not the answer. But like I said earlier, I don't believe there is a setup that has no losses. I've been trading futures long enough now and really studying a lot and seeing other systems that are out there. And I don't care how great the system is. Every system is going to get some losses. Nothing's 100%. I think it's just true in life. Nothing in life is 100%. And I think that's the hardest thing for traders to learn about trading, especially when they're learning a new system and they see it work for other people, or other people claim, or the ones that teach it claim it's like an impervious strategy that you're going to win no matter what. You're not going to win no matter what, especially because as a newer trader, you don't know how to handle losses. And when you get a loss, you start deviating from the plan. You start doing things differently. You start taking more risks because you just want to get the money back. And you don't want to see this red number. You just don't want to see it there. You don't want to look at that. You want to get it back. But the thing you don't realize is that the odds are stacked against you that day, because to get it back, in this case for me, I would need about 4 trades to be about break even. And so, the loss of my one trade, I'm now having to do 4 times as much work to just get back to break even. And so the odds are stacked against you. So anytime you get in that mentality where you're just like, you want to get back, you have to take a bigger risk than your initial risk to get it back. And then that just usually leads to a downfall. Sometimes you'll get it back, but more times than not, people, especially newer traders, will just end up blowing up your accounts or doing really serious damage. And it's just not worth it. So it's better it's better for me to just move on to other accounts and put it in the past, say it doesn't matter, it's just one account. And meanwhile, 4 other accounts are in good shape now. So losses are going to come. I'm not trying to say that my system doesn't lose. I think every system loses. That's just being honest. And I'm never going to try to tell anybody that the way I'm trading is the way to trade, or even try to teach what I'm doing, because I'm just figuring out for myself whether it works or not. So far, I'm having some good success, but who knows? Maybe starting tomorrow, I'll just lose every trade and blow up all of these accounts. You just never know. So, but no, that's a good guess. And hopefully in not too long from now, I'll be able to start talking about the full name of the channel. But it's got to start happening first, I guess, is how I would say it. So that's me for the day. 3-1 for the day. Up $100, up 430, up 97, up 92, and down 438 on those individual accounts. 5-1 for the week so far. 140 wins, 33 losses for the year, right at 81%. And I'll be back tomorrow to continue this journey. Appreciate you guys watching, checking it out. Anyone that wants to ever talk in the chat, feel free. And please like and subscribe if you find any of this interesting. I am always showing all my accounts, my P&Ls, all my trades. I never trade off stream, and you'll be able to track this from day to day. Everything will always line up, tracking my stats, my win-loss ratio, percentage, everything. And you'll see that every day there's never going to be a gap of like, oh, yesterday you were 140 wins and 33 losses, and now the next day comes and all of a sudden it's 145 wins and 33 losses. I don't do that stuff. It's not going to happen here. If you can't find it on the stream, then there was no trade. Except for there was one day where there was a glitch. I started my stream, got a trade like 7 minutes in, didn't realize my stream stopped like 5 minutes in. And then after the trade, I realized I wasn't streaming anymore and started again. There was that only one single time so far this year where there was a trade that didn't get recorded live on the stream. But all right, cool. Saggy, thanks. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Again, 80% discount still going on. You can use this code or any other code you have. Get that 80%. It's pretty much the best discount Apex offers other than their 90%. But they already just ran their 90% recently, so I'm not expecting it probably until at least July 4th, is my guess. As I said, they're just not going to do it a lot. And so also running the one-day pass to pass evaluations right now. So if you use my code, I appreciate it. If not, no worries. But definitely use somebody's code so you get the best discount. And I think that's it for today. I've said it all. So thanks for watching. I'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a good day. Hope you had a good day trading. And see you tomorrow.